So
Right.
yo, what's good, bro? How
Yo,
are
what up?
you?
What up?
How's things?
Welcome
How's
everybody to the
life?
Oh Really podcast. It's your boy Snack Morris and the one and only Daniel Son.
What's
What's
up?
up, brother? How you been?
I feel like I should add a bow. You think I should add a bow? I love bow. You ever
Dead
eaten
about.
bow?
I don't know. Are we gonna be flagged for racism? I don't know.
No, I mean I sure hope not. Bow is like it's universally loved. It's like pho and ramen.
It's like Jerry Seinfeld once said, how can it be racist if I like their race?
It's a good point. Jerry Seinfeld is really good at articulating the finer things of life in a way that most people, the common people, understand.
Have you ever seen the episode of Curb where Larry David is in the Chinese restaurant when he's in New York and like the guy like fucks up his order. He doesn't secure the order. He doesn't like pack everything up, and like it sloshes everywhere. So he explains it to the guy, and the guy gives him a bow, and he gives him a bow back, and then he meets these other Chinese people in Central Park,
And
and
he
they give
assumes
him
he
a
has to
bow.
bow.
Yeah, and he gives him like a real deep bow, and he goes, wait, what is that? And he goes, it's a bow. I'm showing respect. And the guy goes, well, Larry goes, well, I met this guy at the Chinese restaurant, and he went like this, and he goes, oh no, that's not a good bow. And he goes, he gave me the shit bow. And he goes into the restaurant. And he's like, "You gave me this shit bow. What is up with this shit bow?" Yo,
Yo,
fucking show is hilarious,
I mean, I feel his pain. Have you ever gotten Chinese food to your house and you can see through the bottom of the bag because all that good sauce just leaked through everything?
bro. I got Chinese food last night. There's one place around here in Florida that tastes kind of like back home. Not has not disappointed yet. I've ordered from here at least 20 times already since I've moved down here.
Is it mostly greasy, slightly dirty?
Dude, one thing they can't do down here is fucking egg rolls, bro. Like they can't at all. They're
Bro,
all terrible. Except for this place is amazing.
you know, it's
It's just
funny.
like
Like, I'm not a huge fan of the Chinese food in Edgewater. Like, obviously, they have Korean food more. Like, it's more prominent. Like where I am in Jersey, but like I had my like first real egg roll last night, and it was actually pretty delicious.
dude, egg rolls are fire. They gotta have like the right amount of cabbage, but also the right amount of like the roasted pork. Fire. You don't got any roasted pork. It's just fucking seaweed in a phyllo dough.
I'm just about the ends, though. I like where the whole shit gets wrapped up together. Like that's kind of my favorite part.
Speaking of sauce, do you see my shirt?
A lovely cheese pizza just for me.
Name the movie.
Dude, Home Alone. How much?
And I'm going to plug a local business. This is Mamma Mia Pizzeria, Newport Richey, Florida. They also have a location in Hudson for any of our Florida listeners.
That's fucking
Yeah, their
awesome.
pizza's actually pretty good. Like you remember Marcelino's on Tuckahoe Road in Yonkers?
Yes.
They taste like similar to them, which is like really good for like pizza down here.
Not for nothing. That's a really smart t-shirt.
Oh, it's amazing. I
Right.
went in there and got pizza, started talking to the guy. He heard the way I talk. He was like, "Oh, where you from?" So I told him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm from Brooklyn." I was like, "Yo, I need one of those shirts that girl's wearing." Dude was like, "All right," he gave me one. So here we go.
New York love, bro. It travels.
I know he had a Knicks hat on, so we know he knows. You
I
know he's
mean,
a suffering man.
it's yeah, it's that time of the year. No, I was watching something like you. My girl follows the Year NYC Instagram account.
Oh man, my wife does too.
Yeah, bro, it's so funny. And the guy was like, I don't know if New York could handle the Knicks winning the championship.
They can't.
Like, Knicks fans would literally tear MSG down because they would
Oh yeah,
not ever want to see them lose again after they won the championship.
dude, they're actually playing really well. If they get one more player between now or next year, they could really make a run at the finals if they keep this up. And not for nothing, they made a trade recently for like a real good defensive player. And
Yeah.
he's a good offensive player too. His name is Ananobi, OG Ananobi. I think they got him from Toronto, I want to say. But anyway, um, they've gone 12-2 since they embarrassed the defending champs, the Nuggets, the other night. Like they beat them by like 25.
No,
Like
it's
it's no
crazy.
joke
I
this year.
mean, we'll see what they do, man. It's exciting, bro. It's exciting. So it's good for New York, man.
Dude, that's what I'm saying, man. There's nothing like you know how big of a Yankee fan I am, bro. Like there's nothing like electricity wise when the Knicks are good in New York City. Like there's no building like it. Like you can go see a Yankee World Series game. Game 7 is the only thing comparable to like a Knicks game when they're fucking on fire,
Because
dude. It's
Knicks
like it's
fans have
insane.
like Mets passion and Yankees passion
Yeah.
put together.
And most of the fans now have never seen a championship in their lifetime. Like my dad was fresh out of high school last time they won.
Wow.
He's 69 next week.
It's been a long
So,
run, man.
yeah. But
Those
speaking
Knicks.
of New York, that's it. Go Knicks. Go Knicks. Speaking of New York, I'm very excited for our episode today. We have a special guest, our first guest,
With a
actually.
newbie, a new person to the group.
That's right. So we went to high school with him. The three of us went to high school together. I've known him for almost 30 years now. His name is Joe Salato. Um, he goes by Casket D, the Money Green Bosses leader. Very big in the underground rap scene. You can get his music on Spotify. He actually just got 4 million streams, a plaque for one of his albums, The Healer. You can check him out on Apple Music, obviously Spotify, but he's going to be joining us in just a few seconds. Talk movies and music, maybe some Knicks, who knows? But yeah,
Love it.
so let's do it. Want to pause it right here?
There is no pausing. We're just going.
No, there's
No,
no pausing.
it doesn't
Oh,
work
I'm so
like
getting
that.
used to this new format.
It doesn't work like that in this world, pal.
All
Until
right,
we're
well,
in the
fair
same
enough.
room, we're
Fair
just
enough,
going.
because not for nothing. The reason why I think Joe's gonna be a great guest is because he's a movie guy just like us. He's from our hometown. He knows
All went to
sports,
the
he knows
same.
food, he knows
All went to the same
basketball.
shit movie theaters growing up.
Oh yeah,
But none of
oh
them are
yeah,
there
absolutely.
anymore. Only one's there.
Dude, do you remember when the Cross County movie theater was like a place to go, and now it's like a hole?
It was the new one. Now it's the only one left. It survived the franchise wars, like Taco
It
Bell and Demolition Man.
it did, and like I said, one of the things I really love about his music is that he's got that New York grit, and he's like real friendly with the locks and everything. So he's got like that kind of vibe with it. Tony Moxberg, I think, is one of his boys. So they do some collaborations and whatnot. But I believe on one of his songs, I'm not 100% sure. I will ask him when he comes on. Um, I think he sampled like a classic film for one of his songs. So I want to double check on that. And here he is. He's
Coming in
connected,
live.
getting in here live.
So, brother, it's
It's all right. It's not his fault. The internet is what
the
it is.
internet. I'm like, the more technology improves, the more I hate it. Because it
Oh, I
doesn't,
know.
every problem it fixes, it creates like seven new ones that shouldn't exist.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started. I got a brand new, they delivered this morning to my house a brand new Wi-Fi router, a brand new everything, and none of it worked. I spent half my
Bro,
morning.
you want to hear some wild stuff? Like I ordered Verizon gig and I have the 300. And when I installed the gig, it actually went slower than the 300.
Really?
Yeah, so I was like, guys, I'm not paying you guys $10 more for you to slow down my speed. And they're like, yeah, we can't guarantee gig on all devices unless it's plugged in. I'm like, yeah, but the only place I could plug it in is the box in the closet because that's where you guys put it to hide it.
Right.
So I'll pass.
We're having a little bit of technical difficulties with the
Bro,
audio.
life is a technical difficulty at this point. It's fine. It's fine. We move on, we evolve. Oh, I see
Hey,
checks.
connected.
I see the check marks.
I see the check marks. All right, how do we get the camera going?
There should be a little icon for him to start video.
All right, I'm telling him right now. I think we
Bro,
got it. Hey,
what's
what's
up?
up, brother?
What's up?
You
What's
would
up,
think in
man?
2024 I'd be a little more technical.
Dude, it's not even you. I was just
Damn.
telling my cousin Danny. And by the way, I don't know if you remember my cousin Danny from high school, but Danny Joe Danny.
What's up, brother? How are you?
Oh no, how are you? My pleasure.
I got a new router today delivered to my house because I'm out here in Florida now, and they got Spectrum. And dude, it's like 4 steps, and they never work. And I was on the phone for an hour just to get an internet connection. So I feel you, bro. All right. So how you
I
been,
haven't used Zoom. I haven't used Zoom since the pandemic first hit.
bro? I'm telling you,
That was
anybody.
the takeoff. That was the takeoff for this shit.
Yeah,
Like,
right?
it's
If you
swear to
had a,
God,
if you had any, if any of us had a time machine, tell me you wouldn't go back in time and buy stock in Zoom in
Oh my
2018.
God. I buy stock in so much stuff knowing that that pandemic was happening.
Oh
bro.
my God.
Bitcoin and Tesla instantly. I would put my life savings into both of them, and then I'd hold a little bit for like when that AMC shit happened.
Yeah,
Oh,
right?
the GameStop shit too. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
We'd be
No,
living
So
real large right now.
real quick, I want to congratulate you on your 4 million streams.
That's a,
on your album, The Healer.
Oh yeah, thank
congratulations, man. That's huge, bro.
thank you.
That's so
Thank you.
big.
So
Yeah, the album did well. Did
I know
really well.
that's actually a great album. I've been putting him onto some of your music. Just tell me what that was like to like get that plaque in the mail.
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, we're probably at about 7 now. That was just from Spotify alone. In total, probably over 10 million now with that album in total DSPs and stuff like that. It was cool. It was cool. Like, Dave Cheddar.
Yeah.
So he's been my man since we were little kids, and for him, he's the one who engineered, mixed and mastered everything on the album. So it's dope to be doing it together with the dudes that I started with and to actually really be seeing success. Um
That's awesome. I
20
tell
years
everybody
later.
I know down here. Everybody I know down here, whenever I hear them listening to music, I always put them on your music. So hopefully that's some of the streams.
Oh, I
Um,
appreciate it always. Yeah.
One of your songs, if I'm not mistaken, on your recent EP with Static Selected, maybe I'm wrong, but don't you sample a song from an older film?
I sample actually the George Michael Careless Whisper.
That's what it was. Okay, and I feel like
Yes.
that was in a movie before, but
I'm
Yeah.
sure it was. I mean, that's
That's a
probably one of
top
the most
10.
famous. Yeah,
Great.
exactly.
That's a top
exactly.
10. Great. Like
Dude, that
there's
song is my favorite song on that EP. That song knocks.
I
It's got like
appreciate it.
it knocks at the same time has like a real smooth like rhythm to it. I really
Oh
enjoy it a
God.
lot.
Yeah, it's a true
Um,
story on that song as well. It's kind of like obviously a little bit grim and everything, but
it's okay. Life
true
can be grim.
story. Yeah, yeah. True story, and to use a classic record like that, and in my opinion and a lot of like listeners and fans opinions, do it justice. Um I feel great about that. You don't want to mess up, never want to mess up a classic. That's like
No, yeah, for sure. And speaking about being a fan of the classics, we were actually having a conversation, me and my cousin before. Being a fan of movies, I know you like crime movies. I know you like, probably a lot of classic crime movies, Godfather, Casino, Scarface.
yeah, for
Can you
sure.
tell me any of those films that maybe have inspired you in your music career, or maybe specific scenes that may have like you watched it and you're like, oh shit, like I can really like write something off of this.
Well, all of them, all crime films like that. I mean, I'm a big one of my favorite films a lot that I don't think it gets mentioned enough is Carlito's Way.
Great movie.
Um,
yeah.
I love it so much because growing up in New York, and my father being Puerto Rican and that whole side of the family being Puerto Rican, it's like it really brought me to seeing like my father and uncles and just like it really felt like home, right? Also like the
Right.
Bronx still felt home to me being Italian as well. I have uncles on that side of the family that feel very authentic to those type of characters as well.
And the kids see being from our hometown too, being able to see him just at
Sure.
a random place too also makes it real too,
For sure. And me, I jumped off the porch real early. I was running in the streets real early. So having him be groomed by the OGs and stuff like that, that resonated with me as well. I always took liking to the older dudes in my neighborhood as they did with me. It's funny because even like growing up, I remember like a lot of dudes like I'm real cool with now. We didn't start off so cool sometimes because we were around the same age bracket, but a lot of the OGs and older dudes gravitated towards me. And then I'm like, like a third generation dude from my neighborhood. So they knew my father, they knew my older cousins and stuff like that. So they didn't really put the other dudes in my age bracket under their wing right away, and
Right.
that caused a little bit of envy and jealousy. And then, but as time went on, the neighborhood all connected and stuff like that. But very early on, I ran with a lot of older dudes, and like I said, in the Bronx Tale, that resonated with me a lot.
I find that a lot of people they try to earn respect sometimes in the wrong way, and I think personally, and maybe you can attest to this, is showing respect. You showed respect to the older guys in your neighborhood. You didn't say, "Oh, you're old, you're washed," whatever the case was, and then it reciprocated to you, and like you said, it resonated with you, and it's helped you in your career and your life.
I
So,
think respect is the most important thing in the world. That's something that no currency can buy, you know what I mean? And you don't need currency to actually give or receive. So everyone starts with respect with me, and I'll keep it at that level as long as they deserve to. And I think it goes a long way. People respect people who are respectful. And I think it's kind of that fine balance of knowing, like, hey, this dude, don't mess around with this dude, but at the same time, this guy's not an asshole.
dude, like in The Departed, when he's like, he's not a guy you can hit, but he's definitely not a guy you can hit.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
one of,
Very
yeah,
exactly.
fair.
Oh,
All right,
back to
so
your question. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, go
Just thought
ahead.
of one.
Yeah.
I have an EP series called Sewer Steam. There's
Okay.
a record on it called Aldo Rain, which is one of my favorite movies, Inglorious Bastards, and I used a actual excerpt from that movie and used it in there. So
Fantastic.
yes,
Maybe that's what I was thinking of, dude. Because I know I was listening to your music recently. I know I heard
yeah,
something. I was like, that's from a movie.
I use a lot of stuff. I used something from what was it? Once Upon a Time in America before.
Oh,
I
that's a
used
great movie.
something. Yeah, yeah, excellent classic. I've used that. I've used Aldo Rain, like I said, on the song called Aldo Rain. Um, Personally, that's probably my favorite Quentin movie at the moment, I would say too. I watch it like all the time. Anytime it's on, I'm on it.
Well, speaking of great directors, all-time great directors, us being three paisans, three Italians here, I know you're probably, as we are, fans of Martin Scorsese. So one debate, and I want to get my cousin in on this because he has strong feelings about this. Um, we always debate the better movie, Goodfellas or Casino. I always lean Casino because I feel Goodfellas is just a smidgen overrated.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna pass it off to him to help out with this debate because
I'm not gonna lie, I'm on the Casino train too. I do think it's the better movie because my problem with Goodfellas is that like once it gets to the 80s, it loses me. Like I'm more drawn and similar to what you were saying before about like that coming up. That's always more of a better story for me. And I feel like Casino runs that out through and through. It's telling a full story, but I feel like Goodfellas became like a stitched together movie once it touched the 80s. Like it was like, let's jump ahead all these years. He's starting to have a drug problem. Now he's full blown drug addict. And I didn't really resonate with that as much. So I'm actually a Casino person myself. Plus Ginger, like that role probably made the movie more than anything because she's the motivator of all things that happened. She got Joe Pesci jammed up, she got De Niro jammed up. Like she was the one that was like part of the FBI's investigation. So I felt like she was that good piece that you never really looked to, but she was the one that kind of pushed everything forward.
so what do you think? What's the better movie for you?
Uh, I think there's a valid debate there, right? I think if you really think about it, Casino might be the better movie. I think Goodfellas is probably the most enjoyable movie almost ever, right? It's just so rewatchable. But Casino, I think the performances in Casino were just a level above everything else. And Ray Liotta, rest in peace, Ray Liotta. Incredible, incredible.
Oh yeah. I mean, one thing you can say about Casino, and Scorsese has admitted this, is it has no plot. It's just things that happen from beginning to end, and there's no joy in that movie whatsoever. There's not even his daughter being born, and when she gets a little older, they don't show the daughter being born. They show her a little bit older, and then she ties her down to go hang out with James Woods, her ex-boyfriend.
Mhm.
Like there's not one point of that movie where any of the main characters are happy.
What
And
I
like
love
you
about it
said,
as well is it also brings us to Vegas, right? And shows the mob influence in creating what Vegas has become, what we know now as Vegas, you know?
right? And
So
they do make the point at the end of that movie that once the mob was kicked out of Vegas, now it's basically like Disney World. You got families going to a place where, you know, regular people went to like blow their life savings and do cocaine
Let's
and
not
drink and
pretend
all
that
that stuff.
that Vegas isn't gone completely. It's
oh
still
yeah, it's there. It's there.
Oh, you can find it. It's
Yeah,
probably too.
it's in
It's
the
on-
DNA of that city. Like you can't chase it out. The Cowboys might be gone, but the cocaine and
Yeah,
hookers.
it's kind of like almost Times Square, right? Like when we were young coming up, it was crazy, right? You
Oh
know, and
yeah.
they cleaned it up. But now if you go, I don't know if anybody's been visiting recently, but like right outside of Times Square, them whole outskirts, it looks like Skid Row, bro. It's crazy.
It's it is a little bit on the
Uh,
wild side. I've heard that about San Francisco too. I haven't been to
Yeah.
San Francisco in a very long
Me,
time, but I've heard that.
it's wild in Jersey. I went to go visit my buddy in San Diego in August. I was his best man, and like I saw like the 10 cities out there and everything. Like that's like a culture now. But like I saw my first like vision of that in Jersey. Like it's starting to like pop up here that people are just like, fuck it. This is where I'm at now.
I mean, it's the country as a whole. Not to get into politics or anything, because that's not what we do. But things are
yeah.
getting to be different from what we know, but maybe not different from throughout history, if that makes sense. Things I feel like are cyclical; they come back
Well, they
around.
always say it,
Yeah.
right? History repeats.
Right.
Fashion, we know
Oh
fashion
yeah.
repeats. Everything repeats itself. just in different characters and different forms. Movies too, like what we're talking about
Oh,
now.
I
I
mean,
think
all right,
it
so
was
it's 2024 just started. We were talking about this before. Oscar nominations are out. Any of the what are some of the best movies you saw 2023 in your opinion?
Okay, so I seen a fair amount of like top contenders. There's still, before I start on ones that I really enjoyed, there's about three that I need to see still that are in discussions all the time. Past Lives I did not see yet.
Okay.
That's being talked about all over the place. Zone of Interest, I really want to see. That's being talked about as a sleeper as well. And the one I want to see the most out of the movies that I haven't seen yet is Anatomy of a Fall. So, did anyone see
Yeah.
any of those three?
no, I
Okay.
haven't.
I haven't either.
Yeah, I haven't seen those myself either, but Anatomy of a Fall is what I really want to see out of those. Some of the movies that I really enjoyed, I was trying to think about it once I knew I was gonna come on. I'm like, damn, what can I pick that I really enjoyed the most? And I have like a handful. I don't think anything like really stood leaps and bounds beyond like so many other movies this
You
year. I
see
felt like
Oppenheimer and Barbie?
so Barbie, I did not enjoy.
No?
Did not enjoy Barbie. I thought I was gonna enjoy it a little more than I did. I really like I like the premise of it. I thought they were gonna do a good job. It wasn't terrible. It just wasn't for me. I'll put it that.
Makes sense.
Wasn't for me. Another movie, I don't like to bag on movies too much. Another one that I thought was very overrated, which was talked about earlier in the year a lot because it came out earlier, was How to Blow Up a Pipeline.
Okay.
I thought it was okay, but it was talked about, like one of them movies, and it just didn't do it for me that much.
I
But
find that
now,
the Academy does that. I find that they kind of give like pity Oscar nominations to movies because people like them, and then they kind of go with things that the most average movie fan hasn't seen. And I feel like that's why the
yeah,
award show doesn't really resonate with
yeah.
anyone. Danny, what about you? Like anything you've seen
I don't
recently from
know.
this year?
You know what I noticed? I feel like the tastes of people have changed, and I don't think we're in that season where any one movie is really going to dominate a certain, like going like 5 for 5, like Silence of the Lambs or
Yeah.
something. I feel like everybody's curiosities and interests are like, and like it or not, like Barbie and Oppenheimer kind of did that. Like it really surprised everybody because it's like, how do these one-off movies get this kind of burn when this a year and a half ago it took Marvel 12 movies to get this kind of attention?
Yeah. I
So I think that it's changing the landscape of like what film is really about right now.
just to touch on what you said, I think those two particularly too. Barbie is like it's such a huge brand, right? Right. And
Right.
it resonates with people for generations and generations. And then you put incredible actors behind it and the marketing they did, like that movie was gonna blow up regardless. And then with Oppenheimer too, it was a huge budget film by Christopher Nolan. We don't get those no more, right? We used to like
No, no,
we lived in a great time where we used to
we
get
did.
things like that all the time. And nowadays, like studios are real reluctant about dishing out that type of money to make films like that. So like
Yeah.
we do have to tip our hat to films, even myself. Like I didn't really enjoy Barbie, but cinema needs those movies because we're
They
not
do.
getting them enough no more.
Yeah, I
And I
remember
think
Dune was a problem too. I don't know if you've seen Dune,
Yeah,
because like
Dune was
Denis
good.
Dune was
Villeneuve is one of
great.
my favorite directors.
Me too.
There
Me too.
was so much apprehension about giving him that kind of price tag because it's like
He's
it's
probably my
sci-fi.
actually favorite director working right now, actually.
He's unbelievable. Him and David Fincher are at the top of, besides obviously Cameron, but Denis Villeneuve, there's nothing he's really made that I've been like, that's terrible.
I agree.
And so one thing I wanted to mention was that the MCU, how it's so huge and how it's changed the landscape of film forever. I mean, we grew up in a time like you were saying where we got those obscure movies, those once bittens from 1985, The Night of the Comet from the 80s. I don't know if you ever seen My Boyfriend's Back from like 1993 about the guy who saves like the prom queen's life, and with his dying breath he asks her to
Oh,
out on a date, and she says yes, so he comes back as a zombie so we can go on the date. Like they don't make obscure movies like that anymore either. So
Like the Lost Boys. I love the Lost Boys.
Lost
yeah,
Boys is
like those
great.
movies
But
don't
we
get
had
made.
B movie options because we also had so many A movie options. Now
Right.
they think a movie is A option, but in reality it's a B. Like we had a choice. Like I'm gonna sit down and watch a shit movie tonight because it's
Yeah.
gonna be fun, entertaining, and awesome. But like
So
Lost Boys was definitely an A movie. Like
Mhm.
great, great film overall.
so since the MCU has shaped, you reshaped the way cinema is done. Do you think a comic book movie will ever win Best Picture?
I would never say never. I mean, they're huge, but I think they're also in kind of like a rebuilding phase now too. Like almost like with sports, a
Mm-hmm.
team gets their championship run and then the players get older, they start rebuilding. I kind of feel like comic book movies is doing that right now. I don't think Marvel's been hitting how it was a few years
I
back.
don't think their plan was as cohesive as it used to be, and I think that people are starting to notice the chinks in the armor with it, and I think they
Mhm.
need to stop pretending that they had this grand plan when they only had part of a plan.
But if you think about it, the Best Actor award went to two people that played Joker for playing
Right.
Joker. So like I think DC needs to stop making this run at like we want to be the Marvel version, except we have Batman and Superman, and just be like, look what won. Like these smaller, more condensed, packed, layered stories
Right.
that we did over 2 or 3 films as opposed to doing over 19 films.
Well,
However,
I
I
agree.
think Iron Man's going to win the Oscar this year. I think Downey Jr. is going to get it. RDJ is going to get the supporting actor. I think this year.
You think so?
I think so.
I do agree with what you were saying is that like movies like Joker and stuff like that, you know what it is? They have substance behind them. It's more of a character study as opposed to just like an action blockbuster, you know? And
Yeah.
it's easier to grab awards with that because you're able to, as an actor, you're able to actually give the audience an incredible and stellar performance as opposed to most comic book movies. It's pretty much action packed, and it's not like you're not getting like, oh my god, he was so incredible in that role, you know, for the most part.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I think is that with the previous MCU movies, I mean, the reason why it's not resonating as much now is because Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. There's no longer a differentiation between the man and the character. Same thing with Chris Evans as Captain America. Like when you see them in person, I feel like your first thing your brain's gonna do is, oh shit, that's fucking Iron Man. And you're like, oh wait, that's Robert Downey Jr. And their performances are very like, I mean, Infinity War, Endgame. I mean, the arcs that they go through where everyone was lost, they lost everybody, and then they had to bring them back. Like there's real gut wrenching shit there that I feel like could have been recognized and wasn't because of the genre. But I think the closest we're going to get for the MCU is going to be RDJ, hopefully getting that trophy. I think that it's
Do you
just
think
not for everyone, and I think that, like you said, there are a lot of powerful stories and roles being told in those stories, but they get lumped together because of what they are.
well, that's what I was gonna ask you. Do you think that they maybe just started over they seen the success that these movies were having and it's a little bit oversaturated instead of maybe crafting instead
Yes
of
and
trying to
no.
like
And, I,
like
and I'll
pump out
ask
a
you this.
million at a time, you know?
I think the problem is because the characters only can go on so long. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is close to 60 if he isn't already. He can't be Iron Man forever. And that's the problem is that Iron Man's been the same age in the comic books since the 60s. Same thing. Spider-Man is only gone from like a high schooler to like a man in like recent years. He should be close to 70 years old.
That's a valid
So that's the problem is that the characters live forever on the page, but they can't live forever on film. So they have to have a story beginning and an end. And then once those people aren't playing those characters anymore, I feel like the interest wanes. Like I love Doctor Strange. I love, Shang-Chi and all these guys, but the average person knows Captain America, knows Iron Man, knows Spider-Man, and eventually you have to usher them out or reboot it.
Isn't it kind of crazy though? Then we got to kind of tip our hat to all these dudes that play Batman down the line, right? Because they like when we were kids, I couldn't see anybody besides Keaton as Batman, right? Like, and
Yeah, I
then
agree.
down the line, we did like Christian Bale killed it, right? You know, like even the last Batman, I like people had a lot of reserves for Robert
Robert
Pattinson.
Pattinson.
Yeah, I thought he did a great job.
I think
He's a great actor.
he's as close to what we got with Keaton in Batman 1 in 1989. Because it like Bale did it, but Bale was also an action star too. They didn't like they went a little more action. Like I feel like 89 and the Pattinson one was like all about like this guy is like fucked up in the head,
Yeah.
And
and
he's
it
the
really
world's greatest
exposed that.
detective. And he finally did some detective work. Like that was like the whole like film noir, the new Batman with
When people
Pattinson.
forget that like Keaton cracked like I don't know if you remember the scene where like in Batman 89, right? Like with the news anchor like passed out and like they had all these chemicals mixing together and he was like poisoning everybody. Like Michael Keaton's like, let's go shopping. He literally sat there and chemistryed the shit out of the entire process and broke Joker's code. and was like, "Here, I gave it
Yeah.
to the press." Like that's the detective work that we got to see. It's good filmmaking, but
Mhm.
you know that psychological weight is I feel what really makes movies great.
Well, Pattinson's a great actor. He falls into that category of he was in Twilight, so people don't give him the fair chance. Like, have you ever seen Good Time? The Safdie
I
brothers, the
love
same
Good
people made
Time.
Uncut
I love
Gems.
Good Time. Safdie
Dude,
Brothers is one of my favorites, dude. Like I really love. He killed Good Time. He was incredible. He really was very believable as like a sketchy, screwed up
he looked
individual
like an Albanian dude from the Bronx.
for sure, without a doubt.
Yeah, those are really good. I mean, he was good in Tenet, which is a really hard movie to understand.
Yeah.
But it is still a well crafted film. But all right, before we let you go,
Oh, sorry, I didn't even bring off some of the
no, you're
movies that I
good.
enjoyed. I got
We really
sidetracked.
enjoyed having you on, man. This has been a great discussion. But before we let you go, I need to know all time favorite food and favorite movie.
Oof, man, favorite movie is gonna be tough. Favorite food, it's gonna change, but I'm gonna go pizza.
That's it. Can't you see my
Not,
shirt?
nothing like a good pizza. Nothing. How you living down there? I know you're a pizza guy. I know it's been rough for you down there or what?
Bro, you know Marcelino's in Yonkers on Tuckahoe Road?
Yeah.
All right, so this pizzeria I got right here on the back, Mama Mia's, they gave me this t-shirt. Probably the closest I've gotten to tasting like it tastes almost exactly like that spot,
Okay.
which is the closest I've come. No, nothing as good as A&S or Dunwoody or any of that stuff down here.
Yeah, it's tough.
But it's tough. Chinese food too is tough, bro.
There's some wood oven pizzas down there. I forget what it was. I don't know what part of Florida you're in, but like in
I'm like
Central
right by.
Florida.
I'm like half an hour from Tampa.
Okay, yeah, I love the West Coast. That's where I go most of the time when I go.
Trust.
I'm gonna hit you up when I'm down there
Yeah,
too.
please do. Please do.
And movie, man, movie is tough. Oh man, there's so many great films. Here's
It's a
one.
lot.
All right, I don't want to pick something. Here's a great movie. I'm not gonna say it's my all-time favorite, but
Okay.
it's a great one that I don't think gets mentioned as much as like something like, you know, a Goodfellas or something like that. If you're into crime dramas and thrillers with excellent acting, Mystic River. I
That's
love
a great movie.
That
Mystic.
is a great movie.
That is a great call.
I
Yeah,
love
it's on, I think it's on Netflix right now if anybody's ever not watched it, but that's definitely a spectacular movie.
for sure. You got Tim Robbins, Sean Penn, right? Like it's in
The
it.
Baconator.
Yeah, yep. Kevin Bacon, Clint Eastwood movie.
I
Just
think
incredible.
two movies that don't get a lot of burn, like you said, like kind of obscure. Have you ever seen Blood Ties with Clive Owen and a
Yeah,
history, a most violent year with Oscar Isaac?
Oscar Isaac. Yeah, Most Violent Year is really good.
Those are great. Danny's never seen those, so we were talking about them
I
before we
I
came
gotta
on.
add them.
Those are great
Oh,
movies.
those are real good. You know what's a really good one too, in that same vein? Before the Devil Knows You're Dead.
Oh,
It's
that is a great movie.
Sidney Lumet's one of his last movies. Really good with
Colin Farrell
yeah yes,
and Philip Seymour Hoffman.
and Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yes, rest in,
That is
yep,
a great movie.
great
Oh, this
movie.
is
Well, Joe, it's
a
been an
powerhouse.
absolute pleasure having you on. Good luck with the music stuff. Anytime you want to come on, just shoot one of us a text or email. We'd
Awesome.
love to
I
talk to
appreciate
you,
it.
brother.
Question before we get out of here.
Yeah.
What was your favorite movies? I didn't get to ring mine off because I was talking about other stuff. So I want to know if you had to pick two or three, both of you guys.
You want to go first, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, it's one movie that resonates with me forever will be the 1989 Batman. I literally watched that cassette tape until I like ran through the tape itself and had to get another one bought. But like such a
What
big
about
part
from
of
this
my life.
year?
What happened?
What about from this year?
From this year? I don't know. I mean, we're talking 2023, obviously, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. You're gonna have to come back to me on that one.
For me, Killers of the Flower Moon.
mhm,
It's long. I mean, it's a long movie, but there's a lot to unpack there.
for sure.
Um, that was probably my favorite like movie I saw this year. Um, I saw The Killer on Netflix. I thought was pretty
Mhm.
good. Reptile
Reptile.
with Justin Timberlake and Alicia Silverstone and Benicio del Toro. I thought that was pretty good. Um, yeah. I didn't get a chance to see Oppenheimer. I went to go see it in the theater. They oversold the theater. I bought the tickets. There was nowhere to sit. I got my refund, and I was like, I'll just wait for it to come on streaming.
Yeah.
But I
Actually,
did see Barbie. I did enjoy it. I actually find it kind of funny that they had that meme where like the whole movie's about like the patriarchy and men run everything and women get the shaft, and then they don't nominate Margot Robbie or Greta Gerwig, and the only person that gets nominated is fucking Ryan
Gosling.
Gosling,
Yeah,
who
yeah.
does kill it in the movie. He does
The
kill it in
irony
the
in
movie.
that, right? The irony.
Yeah, dude, it's art imitating life, imitating art, man. It's wild.
I had Killers of the Flower Moon up there for me for sure. I finally seen Oppenheimer. I didn't see it when it dropped either. I caught it during like the holidays. Um, I enjoyed The Killer too. Fincher's one of my favorite. I like The Killer a lot. I did kind of expect a little bit more from Fincher because we haven't
I
got
agree.
um
That's Dan's favorite guy right there. Is Fincher. He's up there.
Fincher's the man.
Yeah,
Well,
they
that's
found.
why he loves Denise too, right? Because they're like right there, like they're very similar in
Yeah,
the
I was
same.
actually really they formally canceled Mindhunter officially. Like
Oh,
despite
Mindhunter was great.
he re-signed 3 years with them, but they were like, you either have to give more pop or cut the budget. And Fincher's very like, this is the way it works.
Yeah, yeah.
So he was like, our relationship's still good, but
I can't do
Mindhunter,
it.
it's gone.
Does anybody know Fincher's first movie?
Alien 3.
Yes, it was.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Not a terrible movie. I think that movie got like kind of like the shit kicked out of it because they kill like some characters from the second one. I think that once you
Well,
watch it 30 years later,
I
it's
gotta
like
watch it
not as
over.
bad.
I haven't seen it since I was a kid. Speaking of Mindhunter, the other one of my other favorite movies that I seen was Iron Claw. Did you guys see Iron Claw?
Oh my God, dude. Did you
yeah.
hear A24 dropped the ball? That's why nobody got nominated. They didn't send it out to any of the Sundance film festivals or nothing. They
Terrible.
dropped the ball, A24. I'm surprised
Terrible.
at that.
Really good movie. I mean, I actually wish most movies I wish were like a little shorter, right? Like, oh, you could
Right.
have cut 20 minutes off of this movie.
Right.
This movie I wish was a little bit longer. I felt like they kind of skipped a little fast, but the
They
performance,
cut a brother out. They cut one of his brothers out for time.
yeah. And
Yeah.
one of the performance, like all the performances were excellent. I could have used a little longer, but great movie, great movie.
So you're a dad like me. Tell me that end scene in the Iron Claw when he's watching his sons play and he starts crying and they go, "Oh, Dad,
I'll
what's the
be
matter?"
your
He goes, "I
brother,
used to
Dad.
be your brother, dude."
Yeah.
I don't even have a brother, and that shit got me.
Yeah, well, I have a brother, but the age gap is so different.
Right.
For sure, for sure. That's a tearjerker right there. Also, being a dad, man, did you see After Sun? If you haven't, watch
I
After
have
Sun.
not, but I've been planning on it.
Yeah, that's one of those that's gonna resonate with you big time.
Kids have made me soft, though. I was never the toughest guy, but kids have made me. I hug my kid and kiss him 200 times a day. He's gonna hate me by the time he's old enough. But you got to do it every day, like we always say. And I know you said it. Tomorrow's promised to nobody, so say it while you can, right?
Without a doubt.
Joe, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. Anytime you're
Thanks for having
welcome.
me,
Just let
guys.
us know when you got something you want to talk about. Just hit us up.
100%, man. I'm a really big film buff, and once you hit me, I was like a kid in a candy store. I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to talk about something. I mean, outside of music, sports, and film, that's what I do, man. I appreciate you guys.
No, absolutely,
Absolutely.
man.
Check
Thank you
him
so much,
out.
bro.
Casket D, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you consume your music. The Healer, what, 10
Oh,
million
also,
streams
bro,
now
do me a
almost?
favor. Yeah, send me a
Yeah.
link when I upload this on YouTube. I'll pin it.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll send it right to you guys, man. I just
Awesome.
dropped a new album early December called Beautiful Struggle, Dangerous Freedom. If you're familiar with Healer, it's actually like the prequel to Healer, and it's a totally different vibe. Healer's a lot more vibrant, and this is more so going through the storm to get to that point in Healer. So it's dope.
Amazing. I'm actually, I listened to a couple of songs, but I haven't had the chance to really give it the attention it needs, but I will be doing so.
Awesome. I appreciate it,
All
bro.
righty.
Also, brother.
See you later, brother.
Take care, guys.
All right. All right. So that was Big Joe. Great guy, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
honestly, his film knowledge is crazy. It's
oh,
awesome.
yeah,
Love
yeah.
it.
It's great. And like, you know, he has a lot of like interesting taste. Like you wouldn't think like, a guy who's real deep into like hip hop and stuff that would be a film buff because sometimes you have to like focus on one or the other, but the fact that he does like a deep dive on
There's
like
also
obscure
depth
films.
to his film choices. Like,
Yeah,
there's a lot of depth. Like I like it. Like he knows his stuff. Awesome, man. Awesome person to add to the podcast
absolutely.
or
So
vlog.
yeah,
We're gonna figure out what to actually call this. It's a vlog cast. I,
yeah.
I like it. It works.
So what was did you think about your 2023 movie? The one you resonated with you the most, the one you liked
I
the
have
most?
to, it's funny because like a lot of times, like when we think of that question, we think about like what came out in 2023. Sometimes you saw a movie for the first time in 2023. And it's weird because what I did actually last year, and I thought of it after we were thinking, it's like I had a chance to rewatch Interstellar. And it's a movie
Oh my,
that like I haven't really watched since it's been out, just because like 3 hours is like it's a really long time to sit through a movie. And even though I love Nolan, um, but just I picked up on so many more things that I didn't catch the first time. So I have a renewed appreciation for Interstellar.
that's my favorite Nolan movie. My second favorite is Inception.
Yeah. I mean, I really like Insomnia personally. Like
Oh
that's
my God, good. So
Insomnia is amazing.
and it took me forever to realize it's not the Stephen King book.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's
I'm an idiot.
far
I
off.
really always thought that.
The Insomnia Stephen King book is out there, bro. Like it's out there.
And Robin
100
Williams
pages of
playing against type. I'm not going to give it away for anyone who's seen it, never seen it, but you know, I always feel comedic actors, man. I think that we can do a whole pod on that.
I
Comedic
think so
actors who dip
because
their toe into the serious and really knocked it out the park.
even Keaton, like, going back to my favorite movie, Keaton was a comedic actor when he was cast as Batman. And if
Yeah,
the world, like, if the internet, they said that if the internet existed during those announcements, like, you changed an origin story, you had a non-popular character,
it
you
would have
changed the
bombed.
race of a popular character.
Would have bombed.
Keaton was not an action star. Keaton was a
No,
comedian.
they wanted Bill Murray before that.
And then you have Billy D. Williams, who obviously is playing a role that was drawn as a white man,
Right,
which I
right.
think he did
Harvey
really
Dent.
well as Harvey Dent. Like Billy D. Williams is the man.
Oh, dude.
So
Like,
like it literally checked off every box that the internet would go ballistic for today.
oh, the movie would have bombed. They would have boycotted it.
Yeah.
You
But
know.
I think their key that tied it all together was getting Jack Nicholson, because I think that was the answer. And that's one of the most lucrative deals in movie history because he took royalty rights instead of like full upfront
Oh, he
money.
probably still gets paid from that.
Yeah, he wanted the toy money. So killed
Fucking
it.
genius.
Absolutely killed it. But
All
bro,
right.
this has definitely been a fun one.
I want to thank Joe again. Thank Mama Mia Pizzeria in Newport Richey, Florida. Daniel, as always, I will see you this weekend.
All right, sounds good, brother.
Adios.